All right, the Detroit Lions are being put in a difficult position, and we are really, really healthy for the most part going into the game against the Titans. We really are, but there is one area that we are so not healthy, it's starting to be ridiculous. We all know about the Aiden Hutchinson injury. That's not what this video is about. Marcus Davenport, if you'll remember, is done for the year. He is shelved. John Kaminsky is done for the year. Most likely he could come back late in the year. We're thinking about it. So we are down what was going to be our top 3 defensive ends, arguably, definitely top 2. Kaminsky was possibly the 3rd, but Josh Paschal could have been the 3rd as well. And now all of a sudden, Josh Paschal is not injured, but he has an illness. I talked about it, I think, at the back end of a video, maybe yesterday, where I was like, I would expect him to be okay. He's not practicing. He's still not practicing. And Dan Campbell went and said a couple of things in his press conference, and he said Paschal's dealing with something right now. He'll be okay long term, but he's got a little bit of something, so I don't see him practicing today. What does that mean? What is an illness? Like, is he sick with mono like Christian Mahogany had? Does he have like a staph infection? Like, is that why his arm kept being all messed up when we were talking about it? Was it not injured, but it was just more of an infection thing that was going on, and now he has to fight that infection? I don't know what's going on. Like, those are all just me saying things. But here's what I now know. All right? In the preseason, Kaminsky out for the year. Maybe that was even training camp. After 2 games, Davenport out for the year. After 5 games, Aiden Hutchinson out for the year. And then Paschal started doing some stuff, and now all of a sudden he's out. So what we're going to talk about in this video is who are some of the guys that the Detroit Lions are going to have to look to play in that edge position. And I got to tell you, there's not a lot there. There's not, but we are going to get a look at someone that we did a video on, and we talked about him. It was a freshly acquired Isaiah Thomas, and if the guy has the name Isaiah Thomas, and he's in Detroit, maybe he's going to be special, right? I mean, like, that name has a special place in the hearts of Detroiters. There's no doubt about that. A man who won a couple of championships for us. A man that is a top 5 point guard of all time, even though he doesn't get enough love in that respect. And a man who should have been a gold medalist in 1990. Just in case anyone was wondering, that dream team should have had Isaiah on it. But anyways, with all that being said, let's talk a little bit about Isaiah Thomas, and then we're going to talk about the other players that could help. And then, yes, on the back end of this video, if you want to hear about it, I will give my 2 cents on what I think about Jameson Williams and the 2-game suspension that he will be having. When it looks against the Titans, that's good timing. The next game against the Texans, is it Texans next or is it Packers after that? I think it's Texans next. Nope, it's Packers. Not good timing. Not good timing. All right, we need him for that game, especially in Green Bay. But let's first look at who Isaiah Thomas is, and then we'll kind of go from there. For starters, the man is an athletic freak. He got a 9.1. He's the 130th most athletic defensive end to ever test for a relative athletic score. This is relative, right? So this is a 9.1 in comparison to all defensive ends. He has great straight line speed. He has good explosion. He has good to great size. He comes out of a prestigious program in Oklahoma. He was drafted not until the 7th round. I thought that was really, really interesting. And if you're wondering what he's done in the NFL, he was drafted in 2022, right? And he has done nothing. He has not played. And we got him from the Browns, and he's a preseason hero, right? Like, he's had some good games, and he is going to get some playing time in this one. He's going to get some playing time. In fact, here's what Dan Campbell said. He said, yes, we will use Isaiah. He's done enough during the week. We want to get him out there and get him some reps. He's in a good place, and we're excited to see him play. And I'm excited to see him play just because you never know. Like, I want to see if somebody can do it. But who else is there? it's going to be Isaiah Thomas. Now, the two people, there has to be two edges, right? Isaiah Thomas is going to fill some, but he can't fill every snap for both sides. All right. I know this is crazy. A practice squad member, Al-Quadin Muhammad, right? Remember, we signed him right around the same time that we brought in Isaiah Thomas. He's going to get some reps. James Houston is going to get some reps. We know that. He has been invisible since that rookie year where he just went off. But I would look also to some other players. I would look for Pat O'Connor to be getting more reps inside at defensive tackle. I would be looking for Ali McNeil to play a lot of defensive tackle. And then I would look for Levi Onwuzurike and Mekhi Wingo, not only to get snaps inside, but also on the defensive end position. If you want a defensive end that can set the edge, that also has a little bit of pass rushing chops, Mekhi Wingo's your guy. Onwuzurike can absolutely do the same thing. You could go big across the middle, where you have McNeil and Reader on the inside, Onwuzurike and Wingo on the edges. You can do that. That is a very multiple, and on like a first and a second down on the more likely running downs, I have no problem with that at all. Also, with that, if you have those four guys there, your run defense at the point of attack right on the defensive line is already going to be better. So you can put those corner or the safeties back more in a cover two because you don't need to go as nuts underneath because the run will be stopped. You don't need to bring a safety up as much because you have more in the middle. So it's tricky. Yes, we still have Isaac Ukwu. He looked pretty good against the Cowboys. He looked pretty not good against the Vikings. He really struggled against the Vikings. So I'm interested to see what that looks like as well. But it really is a lot of spare parts at this point for D end, which just gives me even more realization that, you know what, maybe it's time to use some resources and go out and get a defensive end. And I don't know if it's just going like giving a pick or maybe for a veteran like Za'Darius Smith, you call the Cleveland Browns and say, hey, instead of us giving you a third rounder, instead of us giving you a fourth rounder, what if we give you James Houston and a seventh? What if we give you James Houston and you can see what you can get out of this young guy and we'll take Za'Darius Smith right now? Would you be up for that? Like, I want to ask all of you, would you be up for that? Because I would. I'm good with the James Houston experiment. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not saying he can't be a good pass rusher in this league. He doesn't work in the Aaron Glenn defense. And you can say that's on Aaron Glenn all you want, but it doesn't work here. All right, so this is usually about the time where we end the video, but I told you I was going to talk about JMO. I'm not sure where to go here. I don't know if I'm a little more upset because it hurts my team, right? The Detroit Lions. And that's frustrating to me, or if I'm more frustrated because I went all in on JMO and my fantasy football teams too. And so he's gone for 2 games in that as well. I'm not sure. But what convenient timing it is that this last game, we were really ramping up with Khalif Raymond, and JMO was already starting to take a back seat. Khalif Raymond is still one of the faster players. He's a sub 4.4 guy. Not only is he one of the fastest players on our team, he is in that elite speed in the NFL. He doesn't have the height JMO has. He doesn't command that kind of respect from the defense. Defenses were starting to play cover 2 against us. Can you believe that? Cover 2, so we could just go underneath all day. That's why Goff's been so good the last few games. Khalif Raymond doesn't do that, but I'm telling you, if you leave him one-on-one with a nickel corner or a corner or just one-on-one with a safety, he can burn them deep too. So Khalif Raymond's good. Williams said he had no choice but to take this on the chin. He came out and said that he doesn't take supplements. He doesn't take vitamins, that he is overly cautious about taking even over-the-counter medicine. And he said at no time have I, and I'll actually show you this. He said at no time have I ever taken something in an attempt to cheat or look for an unfair advantage. I understand that I'm responsible for everything that goes into my body, and I have to take accountability in this instance. All right? Dan Campbell came out, and Dan Campbell said that he trusts Jameson Williams. He said that this is hard, but he trusts him. So this doesn't look to necessarily impact the future that he has with the Lions. Jameson Williams has blocked. He has done what people have asked of him this year. I don't see the ups and downs and the effort like I have in years past. So I hope this isn't something that gets there, but this is the second time. This is the second time where he's done something, we'll call it silly, all right? He's done something dumb. He bet, and now he's taken something that's an illegal substance. I understand the NFL has 1,000 rules, but this is year 3. This is a guy that should know about it. You have an agent that's there to tell you what you can and can't take. You have team physicians where it's like, hey, I was prescribed this. Maybe it was a prescription. Maybe it's, hey, I'm thinking about taking this over the counter, and he just can look at the team physician. Can I take this? Yes, you can. No, you can't. Is this going to have a thing on the banned substances? No, it's not. These are simple questions that can absolutely be, that can make this avoidable. So I hope it doesn't happen again, but it is starting to feel like with J-Mo, like he's so talented. And I'm so thankful that he's on our team. And you can see in the last 3 weeks how he absolutely transforms an offense. You can see it. But like, how often are we going to have to wonder, all right, it's the next thing. First it was the ACL, which isn't on him. It just took him forever to get there. And then it was the slow start. And then it was the suspension for gambling. And then he finally, it's like, yes, he's there. He figured it out. And then now it's this. It just keeps happening. So I'm not going to lie when and say that I'm not frustrated. I am frustrated. And it's happening at a time where, again, I'll say the same thing that I said for Pascal with him. And maybe I actually was talking about him earlier in this video. Against the Titans, you might be able to get away with it. Maybe. It's an NFL team. They're going to be good. It's just the way it goes. It has this sense to me of a team that's selling off like spare parts, and the team can rally around that sometimes. And it's not like they have a bad coach. They have a good defense. They really do. So we need to watch out for that. But I look at that, and I also say, like, it's a horrible timing with the Packers coming up and the Texans coming up. And it's like, oh, man, we really need you. We need you to be fresh. We need you to be ready to go. So, I don't know. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are with J-Mo. And as always, thank you for watching. And hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Keep checking it out. Hit that subscribe button.